Now let us explore the waterfall chart. A waterfall chart can be best used when you want to show the change in numbers, or let's say the transition from the start point till the end point. For example, take a look at this data over here. This is about inventory management, and we have got the periodical change in inventory for past 1 year. So we started the year with 2000 in our inventory, and we were left with 1500 in the month of December. And during this period, there were some additions and reductions. Now, it would be awesome if I could have this data in a visual representation format. For this, the waterfall chart could be a great idea. Let me show you how. This chart is available under the Insert menu, and here we can see Insert, Waterfall, Funnel, Stock, Surface, or Radar charts. That means all the charts available over here. The rest of the charts that haven't been classified under any of these. Well, in case if you have any difficulty in finding it here, you can click on Charts over here and this See All Charts. You get a new window. By default, these are the recommended charts. If you click on this, let's say for this graph, either of the line chart or this, click OK. Although we did get a graph here, this does not make any sense. In the month of February, 300. The overall inventory reduced by 300. But here, it gives a different story. It gives an impression as if the overall inventory was low to minus 300. It was negative 300. No, it reduced by 300, and being negative 300 are two different things. If it is reduced by 300, that means out of 2000, it's now 1700. But now here it's showing the balance as not 1700, rather it's showing it as negative 300. So this chart does not do justice for this set of data. Let's undo this, and I'll select this. Let's change this to months, and I'll select this, Insert, Waterfall, and click here. This is how it looks like. I don't want the chart title right now, so I'll just skip this. The blue bars indicate increase, and orange bars indicate decrease, and gray ones indicate total. But as of now, we don't see any totals over here. And this is how the first cut of a waterfall chart looks like. Now, by default, waterfall chart is assuming all the positive numbers as an increase or an inflow, and all the negative numbers as a decrease, which is absolutely fine. But we need to understand that 2000 and 1500 are not actual increases, but they are the starting and the end points here. So 2000 is not an increase, but a starting point. So I'll click on this. I click on this bar again, and this is the only one selected. Now right click on it, Set as Total. When you select Set as Total, it's now turned to gray. So this is the starting point. From here on, the inventory reduced by 300. So this is where the level should be for the inventory. And then further, it increases by 500. So it covers the gap, the deficit made by 300, and then it increases further by 200 over and above that loss, over and above the initial inventory value. Further, there were some more additions of 200 in the next year, and then after that there was a reduction of 500, and then further another reduction of 400, and it ends at 1500 or 1500. But then we see this is again a total. Now when I say 1500 or 1500, this is quite misleading over here, and this bar is ending at 3000. Access value of 3000. That's incorrect. So I right click here on this particular bar and click on Set as Total. Here we have this. Let's click aside, and here we go. So we have the gray bar, which was the starting point, and another gray bar as the ending point. And if you see 1500, it is now connected properly here. Well, if you were to look carefully, there are thin lines that are connecting each bars over here. It may not be visible clearly because we have this background It may not be visible because we have this grid lines over here. So I can click here and uncheck the grid lines. I uncheck this and here we have this. So there are a thin set of lines. Now these lines are not the ones which we can edit. If you want them to look much bold or thicker, the only way would be click on any of these bars, go to Format, Shape Outline, and increase the weight to something, let's say this 2.14. And here we have this. But we need to understand that it's not only these lines, but also the borders for these bars are increasing, right? So I don't want that to happen. Let's undo this. It's a very faint line and just gives you an idea of how these are interlinked, okay? And it shows a relation between them. Now let's try out on another set of data. So far we saw the trend of how we moved from 2000 as the inventory at the beginning of the year to 1500 at the end of the year. What all things happened during the year, we can see this and get a good idea. Now another way of, or another best use of waterfall charts could be while working with income statement. When we are talking about this, here I have some extract from the set of financial statements of a company. We have the sales and expenses in the form of cost of goods sold. Further, we also have some other income, some other sources of income. Then there is interest expense and taxes. And then finally, we have the net income. So we start with sales and how the sales. Now let's select this entire table, go to Insert. We have this waterfall, click here. Well, we can see the labels over here: sales, cost of goods sold, other income, interest, taxes, net income. Well, I can just expand this further or shrink this. Maybe I can shrink it further. As a result, we can make it look compact, something like this. And again, I don't want the chart title. I can uncheck it here or just click on it and delete. Again, sales, it's $100,000. Then we had some expenses. So overall, it comes down to $60,000. The white area is not visible to us. And this white area represents the balance. And then further, there has been an increase of $25,000 in form of other income, which is fine. And then there has been a reduction of $20,000 and further reduction of $15,000. And then net income is the ending point. However, here it's assuming or considering this net income as a cash inflow or a positive number representing increase in value, which is incorrect. So I right click on this, set as total, and here we have this. So we got some money, which was an increase. Okay, this is not a starting point for us in say like this was not the opening balance value, right? This is just a new set of data that we had. This is just the new set of sales that we have. And once we have $100,000, all these changes happen. And finally, we settle to $50,000. So this is another interesting way to observe the trend on what all components are occupying how much. I can see a major chunk is going towards cost of goods sold. And then we have interest expense. But take a look at this. Other income is closer to around 25% of your overall sales. Now that might, as an auditor, that might be a bit suspicious. But then if you're a real small company, then looking at it in the form of percentages does not make sense, right? Maybe it's a genuine transaction. Maybe you had some exceptional income at that time. It's a one-off case. But yes, it gives you a good view for your analysis.